All right. What is going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another Sunday Stock Watch from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, if you're new to the channel and looking to join a awesome network of like-minded individuals, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. We now have over 550 of us here, and if you want, while you're at it, we have a free Discord group chat that's down in the description box. There's about 60 of us in there now. We had a few of you joining over the last 24 hours. Seems like that's how it always works. We get a big batch of like 5 or 10 of you that'll join, then we kind of go a while without adding anybody. But if you're new, or if you've been tuning in for a while and wondering just what Discord is, it's just an app you can download for your smartphone, any smartphone, and it's just a chat that we all hop in during the market days and even on the weekends, and we just hop in there and talk about various things from stock markets to reselling, thrifting, all that good stuff. So if you're into just learning other ways to make money online from a bunch of other people, check that out. But as always, it's another Sunday. We're going to just go over just overall outlooks really for the market, specifically the markets overall, oil. We'll look at natural gas a little bit as well. And then, of course, if you all have any ticker symbols yourself that you're kind of looking at and you just want to maybe get another opinion on, you can definitely just shout it out there in the chat box there. That's what it is there for, so I can interact with you all. But right before we get started, I just want to make sure that we are up and going. It looks like we're not doing too bad on the stream quality on my end. So with that, we will get started. So as you all know, oil, I'm not really going to hit on, I'm going to try at least, unless if you guys want me to. I'm going to try not to hit on oil quite as hard today as we just had a stream about it on Friday, and obviously nothing's really changed since obviously markets are closed over the weekend, and they'll be opening up here in about the next half hour or so. But overall, still very bullish on oil, like I said on Friday. Good little pullback. I like to see us stay above 57 overnight going into tomorrow. And if not, then I do think we will overall retrace to around like 56, maybe even slightly under, but I don't really see that happening. I think maybe max pain of like 56.50, but we'll see what happens overnight. That'll be interesting to see. And then obviously, like for those of you that are tuning in, I am holding some Gush. I have 60 shares of it with an average buy price of $11.27, so I am up slightly on that position. You can see my chart for my overall account pretty much goes hand in hand with Gush's chart, that little chart down there. But and we're also holding some HEAR, and HEAR, that one's kind of a little bit annoying of an investment. I mean, it's not even big enough to really even worry about. I only have 10 shares, right? Only about 1/10 of my overall portfolio, but just over 1/10 of my portfolio. But overall, I think it is going to rebound to about $16, 16, maybe even 17. My target sell was 17, but since it got rejected just above 16, I'll pretty much consider cutting some small losses at 16. I'll probably, if I do so, if I remember right, my average buy cost is like $16.45. So I'm down about $1 a share right now. Yeah, pretty much down $1 per share. So if I end up cutting the losses at like 16 or just above 16, then I mean, you're talking a few dollars. I mean, nothing major, right? Like $4, between $4 to $5 max. So that one, I'm just kind of ready to just move on from it. I saw what looked to be at the time from my cell phone. Obviously, I like trading on the laptop a lot better. I want to know about you guys. Do you guys prefer trading like on your phones or on your laptop, your PC monitors, whatever? I notice for me, it's just harder to analyze the graph on the phone. Obviously, the phone screen's a lot smaller, but I mean, it just feels like there's something missing when it comes to trading on the phone. And obviously, you're not getting specific, up-to-date stuff. But when I get to look at it like this, and I look at when I got in, I'm like, man, I pretty much tried to catch a falling knife. I should have waited until around 15.50, about where it is right now. Right now, I do think would be a potentially good time to get in HEAR because it is probably going to rebound to probably at least 16 to 17 over the next week or two. But definitely at least 16. So, I mean, if you got in right around here and you wrote it up to, say, north of 16, you're talking a quick little 4% profit, but I pretty much caught a falling knife there, so I'm just ready to exit that trade. But we'll just kind of see how that one plays out overall. Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's just whenever I'm on my phone, I can't get as good of a read on it. Even if I have the exact setup from the indicator standpoint, I pretty much have an identical setup on my indicators because I mostly use my RSI and my MACD the most. Occasionally, I'll pull up the the VWAP whenever I'm looking at a quick day trade. But other than that, I mean, I pretty much have the same exact setup on my phone, but it just doesn't look the same. I don't know what it is, but it's harder to identify that support and whatnot. But yeah, mostly for this week though, I'll be trading Gush and UWT, and then if something reverses within oil, then maybe I'll hop in some DWT or possibly DRIP. Obviously, those are the inverse ETFs and ETNs. DRIP is the inverse of Gush, and then UWT is the inverse of DWT. So overall, I look for DWT and DRIP to continue on down, which would obviously mean I think UWT is going to keep going up. I think UWT is probably going to reach $17 this week. And then on Gush's end, I think Gush is going to hit $12 to $12.50 sometime this week, unless if something that I don't see happening that I can't really predict happens, obviously. But yeah, other than that, natural gas, that's going to be something to watch pretty closely overnight tonight as well, to see if we are going to go back over 2.7 and actually hold above it for once, or are we going to just keep teasing ourselves and getting rejected each time? We're hovering right there, right at 2.7. So, I mean, if it can break above 2.7, I've already said I think it's going between 2.8 and 3 within the next few weeks if we can, in fact, break above 2.7 and stay above it. But over the last few days, every time we've tried, well, this is the 1 day, 1 minute, but over the last couple days, every time it's tried to hold above 2.7, it just got rejected. I think it did once on Thursday afternoon it did, and then it got rejected. And then obviously Friday, it pushed up to almost 2.73, but still got rejected. And obviously right now it's hovering right around the 2.7 mark. So I do think overall natural gas is going to go above 2.7 and end up going up to 2.8 over the next probably week or so. But it definitely needs to get above 2.7 and stay above it. But overall, when you look at the 10-day of natural gas, it's had a nice little rally over the last, about a week, just over a week and a half. We've come from 2.543 all the way up to almost 2.7. I mean, it's had a 6% rise over the last week or so. So, and no, that's not like an accurate drawing or anything. I was just doing that for the percentage. But it's gone up pretty much almost 1% a day average. So it's had a heck of a run over the last week or so. So it'll be interesting. Again, you can see right here is where we got rejected, and then we came all the way down to hit, I think that was a 1 year low, wasn't it? It was at least a 180-day low. Let's see if we can get the 1 year chart. So yeah, it was a 1 year low. So we have rebounded pretty decently from that 1 year low. So we'll see how it can go though. If we can finally break above that 2.7 and just hold above it, that's gonna make a world of difference. Which obviously means what? You're gonna be looking at possibly a good play on UGAS. And if you're into shorting or doing the selling calls like options and whatnot, then obviously you probably sell some calls against DGAS if you're into that thing. But for the most part, within DGAS, I think you're actually going to get a potential good play within DGAS, because I do think overall, just because natural gas has had such trouble getting above 2.7 and holding above it, I would wait for it to try to push above 2.7 again sometime tomorrow, because it's probably going to try again some point tomorrow. Wait for it to push above 2.7, catch it at like a high of a day, and then what would that mean for DGAS? You're going to catch it around the low of the day, and you might get a good day trade, a good bounce off of that, maybe even a swing trade, who knows. But you guys know I don't really like swing trading. The natural gases, the DGAS, UGAS, all that good stuff, those are more like a day trade if you ask me. I know there's a lot of you that trade the DGAS and the UGAS, but as for a swing trade, I just don't like swing trading these two. They're way too volatile. They're very unpredictable. So, but if you were to swing trade one or the other, I would probably still swing trade UGAS, just because obviously, like we were talking about, we just hit a 1 year low on natural gas. So this has a lot of room to run to the upside. I think long term, I think I mentioned this, that I think that UGAS is at least going to go north of 32. I think it got rejected once on Friday, wasn't it? Yeah, popped just above $32, just like natural gas, right above 2.7, and it got rejected. So if it can get above 32, the next stop I think it's going to hit is around 35. Didn't mean to go to the 180 day. I think the next stop is going to be north of $35, $36. So I mean, if you can get in it whenever it drops to around like 31, which is definitely out of the realm of possibility, 31 to north of 35, 36, I mean, you can see there's a good 10 to 15% potential profit there over a pretty short period of time, because I don't think it'll take that long. Once natural gas, if natural gas can build that steam and get above 2.7, I think from there natural gas is probably going to run up to at least 2.8, maybe even more than that, maybe even 2.9. So yeah, that'll definitely be interesting to watch over this week, the next 2-3 weeks actually. But I probably won't trade them quite as much unless if we actually get some true direction within natural gas. Said from the start, 2.7 was a pretty critical support, and then it finally broke it, and then 2.55 area was that ultimate support. We bounced right around 2.54. We've been heading up ever since, but now we're to what's going to be a critical resistance, 2.7. If it can get above it and stay above it and retest it and bounce off of it, then that'd be a good time, in my opinion, to really look at UGAS, more of a longer term swing trade. But as of now, they're just not, neither UGAS or DGAS are too attractive to me right now. I kind of want to just sit back, wait and see what happens, not get the case of fear of missing out, getting UGAS at a super cheap price, and then all of a sudden it pops up to $90. I'd rather miss out than end up losing money. So I'm just kind of taking it easy on natural gas, and like I said, mostly just trading oil because it's super predictable, especially right now. We're heading into the season where oil tends to always go up. Spring and summer months, it tends to always go up. OPEC keeps talking about slashing production. And then I actually put an article from investing.com into our Discord group chat this morning. We were talking about that for a little. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on over the next week or so that could affect oil prices in a good way for those of us that are oil bulls and investing in oil. I think I mentioned that I think oil is going to hit $60 this week. I think it's going to test 60. I'm not saying it's going to go above 60. I think it's going to try to test 60. It's probably going to get rejected once, and we'll probably see a good pullback after it does touch 60, $59 to $60. It'll probably pull back to around where we're at right now, 57, 58, somewhere in that range. But I do think overall we are going to test $60 this week on oil. KHC, is that Kraft? I think you're talking about Kraft Heinz, if I remember right. That's KHC, right? Yeah, that had a huge, that was also one that I was considering hopping into. Had like a 30% drop at one point throughout the day on Friday. Dropped all the way down to 34.51. And it's kind of been building a support right around that 34.50 mark. So, I mean, this is kind of a good potential swing trade, maybe day trade at the minimum, in my opinion. Because I do think this thing's going to come back, at least fill the gap, so to speak, to around like 36 to 36.50, somewhere in this range. So, I mean, if you got in it somewhere around $35, you wrote it up to just north of 36, it's a quick little 3% profit at the minimum. And then if we fill the gap up to around like $38, you're talking a good 8 to 9% profit potential. And I know there's a lot of people, if I pull out to just a 5-day chart, there's a lot of people think it's going to go back up to around 40. I don't know so much about that. I think it is going to overall fill the gap to around like $39. Maybe not even 39, 38, roughly $38. But it's going to have a lot of resistance right there. I mean, you can see obviously why it had a bunch of support right there in the after hours overnight, early morning session. But then we continued to fall on Friday overall. So that'll be kind of interesting to watch. This one's going to be interesting to watch early market hours tomorrow around 5, 6 in the morning, whenever we're all getting out of bed and whatnot. It's going to be interesting to see if this thing continues to drop or if it finally starts to find some support and actually tries to push on up. Wait for some confirmation though, because this thing could easily just continue to drop. So I don't think it is. I think it's finally going to find some support there around like $34 because I mean, yeah, I definitely think. Okay, so I can actually see now looking at is this the 1 year? Yeah, I can see by looking at that 1 year chart why some people are saying 40 to 42. They think it's going to fill that gap and test what's going to be a pretty strong resistance because it was a big support around $42. So now that I'm looking at that, I can see why a lot of people are calling for it to move up to $42 this week. But wait for some confirmation still. Like I said, I'd rather miss out on an opportunity than get in too early and just keep catching a falling knife. I would probably wait until this thing's north of $36 personally. I'd say maybe around like $36.50. Find out, watch it move up, watch it pull back, find a new support as it tries to continue to go up. Obviously, just the technicals of it. But didn't mean to do that. But I would try roughly to get in somewhere around like 36.40. In a perfect world, of course, some maybe a little bit higher, a little bit lower, just depends on how it moves. But if this thing will go up to around like 42, between 42 and $43, you're still talking a 15 to 16% return on your money, depending on when you get in. So I mean, you could even afford to hold out a little bit, wait until say somewhere around like $37 to be super safe, and you're still talking, if you ride it up to north of 42, 14% return. So I mean, you have some wiggle room there. Just don't try to get the knockout slam dunk. Don't try to go for like the 20-30% gain. Just play it out, see how it goes early market hours tomorrow, even at the beginning of the trading session tomorrow. See kind of what the sentiment is on the stock, and then from there, just make the call. Make the call if it's a good time to get in, and if it is, hop in. But I do think this is going to be a potential, at the minimum, a good little short-term swing trade. Couple days in and out, make a quick, at the minimum, 5 to 10% profit probably, because I do think this is probably going to try to retest the 42 to 42.50 mark. Maybe not this week, but over time it's probably going to retest that pretty soon. And you got the dividend. That's going to be what, about 2 weeks roughly. So I'm sure you'll have some people buying into it over the next week or so to make sure they catch that little dividend. Did they cut the dividend? They must have cut the dividend. Was that what the news was? I didn't even hear exactly what crushed the stock exactly. I just saw that it got smacked. But yeah, the dividend's not what it used to be. How's it going there, Peter? I saw the Bitcoin dove, but no, I'm not playing it right now. I've actually been looking into it a little bit. Like, I'm trying to find like a good overall software for like crypto charts and whatnot, but I haven't done a lot of research into crypto. It's something that I kind of played for time to time, like in the after hours or overnight when I can't sleep, and if I see a good little opportunity, like something as crazy as this, then I would kind of hop in, catch a little dead cat bounce, make a quick 1 or 2% on my money. But no, I don't really play crypto too much. It's not my forte necessarily. I'm more of the oil, natural gas. I'm just more of a stock guy personally. But there are a lot of advantages to trading crypto. For those of you that like don't have the time during the day to even look at a stock, but you have all the time in the world in the evening, definitely consider crypto, because if I remember right, it's like a 24/7 platform. Like, you can pretty much trade it whenever, wherever. The problem that I've ran into is like finding good software and whatnot for like charts, something like a Thinkorswim. There's stuff online, physically online. Like, I found a website on Google, through Google, that shows like second by second charts, but it's not like an actual like Thinkorswim platform. But there's a whole bunch that want you to pay a bunch of money, surprise surprise, but I'm not paying for any software. How's it going there, Shirley? Happy Sunday. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking too, because like days like today on a Sunday, I would have all the time in the world to just kind of trade some crypto here and there. It bounces super. I mean, we can go over to Robinhood real quick, and I mean, we can just take a look, just pull up Bitcoin. Obviously on Robinhood, you can only trade Bitcoin and was it Ethereum? Is that what it's called? Scheduled maintenance. Trades will not be executed right now at 5:05. So in about 12 minutes. Well, that sucks. Well, you can't trade crypto right now on Robinhood. But I mean, you can just see, now obviously today's kind of an exception because there was a huge drop in Bitcoin, about an 8 to 10% drop overall. But if you like actually zoomed in here, you could see, like, say you just happened to catch it at the low of the day, and then you hopped in, and then so it was down about 11%, and then say you just wrote it up here, well, you made a quick 1%. and then you kind of waited, then you found another dip and hop. So I mean, you can really time out crypto, because when you see a big dip, for some reason crypto guys love buying the heck out of the dip. So every time you see a big dip, you know it's going to bounce back at least 1 to 2%. It's just not my thing though. I don't know. I just don't ever have the time either. Even on weekends, I don't really have the time. I'm always running around doing stuff. But there's money to be made there for sure. I mean, even like I said, if you go back to like the 1 week chart, say you wanted to swing trade Bitcoin, I mean, even with this 10% drop, it's still up 6% in the last week. And if you look right as of, man, I feel bad for whoever didn't sell this thing like yesterday, because it was up 16% overall in the week. It lost 10%, over 10% of that, just like that. So, but it's still, I mean, it's at an attractive price point for like a long-term trade, in my opinion, because I think it's going to at least come up over 6,000 again at some point. It's just how long is that going to take? And even then, that's going to be, what, a 30% return on your investment? And it's a big maybe, where oil, like my Gush, for example, or not Gush, where Gush is pretty much offering me almost doubling my money. Obviously, nothing's ever 100% guaranteed, but it has a very, very good shot at doubling my money relatively quickly too. But again, if you don't have time to like ever like trade stocks and whatnot, and you're looking to maybe trade something in the evenings or on the weekends or anything like that, then crypto is definitely something you should take a look at. And I probably should take more of a look at it, because I mean, there are a lot of people making money, but I won't ever probably really post any videos about crypto too often. Even if I do decide to hop into it quite a bit, I won't post a lot of videos about it, just because that space has been ruined on the internet, and I definitely don't want to get thrown into that mess. But yeah, overall, let me see. Are we still doing all right overall on the stream though? We got 7 of you tuning in. That is awesome. And like I said, if you're new to the channel, we'd love to have you here, add you to our awesome community. Definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below if this is your first time here. And like I said, we have that Discord group chat. It's down in the description box. There's about 60 of us in there now, after there was like 4 or 5 of you that joined in the last day or so. So that is awesome stuff. But yeah, overall for Gush, I set these alerts actually on Thursday or Friday, I forget when. I think is after I bought mine, because I knew if we go back, just go back to the 5-day chart. So I saw that Gush hit 1088 very, very briefly on Thursday, and then it obviously went up on overnights on Friday morning, and I saw this quick little panic overall when it dropped down to around 11. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to set alert at 1090, because if this thing drops below 1090, I'm going to be watching it super close, because I'm going to look at potentially adding more shares. But it didn't. It built a new support, which we were talking about this on Friday. Throughout the day Friday, it kept making, like, if you just go back to Thursday and then into Friday, it made higher lows and, well, it didn't make higher highs, but what we did was we kind of set ourselves up in this wedge where our lows were getting lower throughout the day, but our highs were getting lower throughout the day, but our lows were getting higher. So we're kind of in this little short-term wedge. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out overall, which I believe also translated into oil. Not quite as transparent, but oil also, it made higher lows but lower highs. So definitely kind of in a wedge. It's going to be, I'm really interested to see how the oil market opens up here. I think it opens up here in just a few minutes, so maybe we'll still be on the stream whenever the oil market opens up. But it's always interesting to see how it first opens up, but then after that, Sunday night, it's usually pretty quiet. It's overnight Sunday into Monday morning when it really counts, obviously. But we get a good feel within the first few minutes kind of what the oil market's going to do overnight, and then from there, a lot can happen from midnight to 5, 6 in the morning Central Time. So overall though, I think oil is going to stay right around 57 overnight, and then I believe that we're going to retest 58 tomorrow. I think we're going to go above $58 tomorrow, which would be awesome, but if it doesn't, whatever. If anything, I'll probably add some more positions depending on how far it would fall. But there's some stocks too that I was wanting to take a look at. I should have wrote them down. I forgot. I thought I had them in my watch list. Planet Fitness. I think their earning report is this week, if I recall. Let me take a look. Yeah, their earnings is on Tuesday. So that's going to be an earning report to watch because really Planet Fitness hasn't really moved an awful lot since the start of the year. It's kind of just been stuck in between like $56 to $60, just kind of in this range right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with their earnings report, if that's going to cause it to come back down some or if it's just going to keep going higher. This is one that I really wish I had invested in like from the start whenever I first started trading about a year ago, because about a year ago whenever I first really started getting into trading a lot, this was around like $35. So I mean, if you had gotten in this say around $37 and you wrote it up to around where it's at now, you'd have made over 50-60% on your money in the last year. I mean, that's not bad. Even if you literally did nothing but invest in the Planet Fitness, you would have made 50-60% on your money. Now, I'm not saying you should dump all your money into one stock ever, but hindsight's always 20/20, right? It would have been a good investment for sure. And if I remember right, Trade Desk. Wow, I missed out on a huge opportunity there. Trade Desk is one that what the hell happened? I almost invested in this on Wednesday, because I think it was Wednesday or Thursday last week. Yeah, I saw this thing, it was Thursday. It was down to $145. I was like, man, part of me really wants to get into this before the earnings report, because I knew their earnings was going to be strong. And sure enough, blew out the expectations. I'm assuming guidance was great too. So man, if I would have hopped in that around 147, which is what I saw it at on Thursday, and I held it, shit. Well, you win some, you lose some, right? But sometimes you need to go with your gut when it comes to trading, and I definitely missed out on an awesome opportunity there. If you're still holding that at $200, you're smoking crack. You should have sold that shit before Friday afternoon. Etsy, yeah, that's another one to take a look at. But man, I shouldn't have even looked at that. That makes my stomach hurt. Can't believe I missed out on that one. Etsy up over 7%. I think you're in this, aren't you? Up almost 7% overall. Had a good little double bottom there on our 5-minute chart at right around like 52 to 52.50. And then it ultimately went up higher. As the earnings report tomorrow post market, so after hours. So that is going to be pretty interesting to watch. Let's look at the 180 day on it. So it's been overall trending up. It's been kind of sideways as of late, range of about $50 to $58. So we're getting near the top end of that range. So hopefully the earnings is good. If the earnings is good on this, you could see another leg up over $60 is kind of what I'm thinking. It'll go up over 60. So I mean, there's some good potential there. It'll be kind of, I'm going to set some alerts on this one actually, because I want to know if it comes below 55. So we will say at or below $55. And then if it goes above, let me see. If it goes above, let's just say 57. Oops. Create an alert at or above $57. I want to kind of watch it in between that range early on tomorrow. Where was it at after hours? Right around 57. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where that one opens up tomorrow. And I do think the earnings overall is going to be great for this one as well, because obviously we were talking about this in Discord, I think briefly as well on Friday, with the winter season and whatnot. It was super busy on Etsy, and I think their earnings is probably going to blow out expectations as well. So that might actually be a good play. I'm probably going to play that one tomorrow, maybe. It just depends how it shakes out. But honestly, I want to see it now that I'm looking at it closer. I'm actually probably going to set another alert right here, just so I will have something to look at or below. We'll just say 57. Yeah, we'll say 57.70, because it was a little bit of a resistance earlier on in the week. So I think I wouldn't be surprised, and honestly, if this pulls back to around like 55.75 to 55.70. So I just want to be alerted ahead of time. That way, one, it'll kind of act as a reminder to look at that stock, and two, it might be a good buying opportunity there. You're talking roughly how much of a decline? About a 2% change. So I mean, that's a good little change in price right there. So yeah, if this thing can come down to around there and bounce off of it, I'll probably consider hopping in and riding it out through earnings. Especially since I'll probably be home, knock on wood, by then. By the earning report, I'll be able to hop out of it after hours. Who knows, I might even do a live stream if I'm in it by then. So yeah, this one's going to be interesting to watch. I kind of like this. PayPal. I have beef with PayPal, so I'll never invest with them, unfortunately. But, yeah, that's a long story, actually. But I do like PayPal, like how it's been moving lately, but just beware that it is at the 180-day high, so it could definitely pull back to somewhere around like $94. Let's see, you said entry at $96.33 with a stop loss of $1.67 with a price target. So you're planning on holding this for a little while, aren't you? Price target of 108. I don't even know what anyone's price targets on this are. I don't know if there's that. So they put theirs at 110. PayPal Holdings price target climbed to 110 by Wedbush. So there's a lot of people that are upgrading this. So I wouldn't be surprised if this $114. So I do think overall you'll get your 108. It's just how long is that going to take? But don't be surprised at the same time if this retraces to somewhere around $94. You might want to adjust that stop loss. Let me see. You said it $96.33. So you're talking roughly in the $94.50 range on your stop loss. I would consider putting that stop loss around $92.50. I mean, I know it's a little bit looser of a stop loss, but can you see why I'm saying that? Because now that this was such a strong resistance, right around $93 for so long on the 180-day chart, it's probably going to act as a new support. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that test around 93 to 94, maybe even 92s, but you have your stop loss set decently too, because if your stop loss is around 94.50 to 94.70, which I think it is, unless if my math is wrong, then it's a decent stop loss too. You got in a little high though. Wait, you said 96.33. How'd you get in at 96.33? I'm trying to see where you got in there at 96. How's it going there, Tyler? Shirley, how'd you get in this at 96.33? It looks like the 180-day high is only 96.10. Either way, wherever you ended up getting in, I would just consider putting that stop loss below 93 personally, but everyone has their little stop loss set up. I don't even use stop loss hardly ever, in all honesty. Trailing stop loss I would, but stop loss I just don't really use it too often. I just set alerts, and then from there, if I need to cut losses, then I will. What do I think about CVNA? Let's take a look. Carvana. So let's pull up the 180 days. So it is descending. It's right around a point where I would not be surprised if it gets rejected. Yeah, it's pretty close to a point where I would not be surprised to see it get rejected. Zoom in here. Its earning report is when? Was that Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday? After hours. I don't know a lot about this company. It was up 10% on Friday. So in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing pull back tomorrow. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised to see it try to push up somewhere around $39 to $40 tomorrow before pulling back. That's going to be a pretty strong resistance, right around $39.50. So just beware. It's up a little high for my liking to try to hop in right before our earnings report. But I don't know a lot about this company either. So I would just do a little bit. If you know a bit about this company, and you think it's going to be an awesome earning report, then I would just consider waiting for a little bit of pullback. I mean, you got a few trading days, but it's just not too attractive right around this price point, 38 to 39, because it looks like it's definitely, especially when we look at our short-term chart, 1 hour is what I go to, starting to approach overbought status. So just beware. I don't really like getting in anything that had a huge day like that. Let's see. I'm gonna sell some puts on it. So you're taking a bullish position on it. Okay. The put that I would sell personally would be, I don't know how much it would pay though. $31 to $32. That's the one I would sell. Unless if you're wanting to sell the upside put, which I don't know what you'd want to do on that price point. Just depends if you're bullish or bearish. But let's see, Peter, excited to see where Cron goes. Yeah, Cron's another one that I missed out on about a week or two ago. I was looking at it when it was around, what, 15? I think, yeah, it was like 15.50. And it jumped all the way up to 25. Sorry about that. Jumped up over $25. Had a good, yeah, had a little 2 to 3% pullback. I like our RSI indicator on the 180-day chart. Doesn't show that we're overbought whatsoever, but I think I would wait for it to, let me see here. I would want to get in this around $20 personally. Right around 20, maybe even slightly below 20, but I would want to get in this around $20, 20 to 21 at the highest. But I honestly want to see it pull back a little bit more, but I can see why after that little gap down. I wouldn't be surprised at the same time if it fills the gap to $23 at the same time. You're not going to get a huge return. For that reason, I would wait it out and see if it could potentially pull back, like I said, to around 20. That would be a potential good buy price in my opinion, because if you can get in this around like $20, or say you even got in it slightly above, and then it filled that gap, you're talking at that point a 10 to 12% profit versus just 2%. I mean, 2% still better than nothing, but obviously this could take another leg down. So that's what I'm saying. I would just kind of do the risk versus reward and maybe look at just figure out what entry point you want to get in at, and then just if it doesn't hit that entry, then just don't buy in. Like I said, I'd rather miss out than end up losing some money just because I had the fear of missing out. How's it going there, Kevin? How do we get into trading? There are some books. I actually bought my brother for his graduation present like a year or two ago, a book called Understanding Stocks. It's actually on Amazon for, I believe, like $10 or something like that. It's actually a pretty cheap book, like $10 to $15. It's a very good book from teaching you like just the fundamentals. It's a very good book to get started in. But overall, that's all I did. I've read Trading Options. That's another. It's by the same author that sold Trading Stocks. There's a few books out there, but for the most part, I kind of just watched other people's YouTube videos. One guy that I actually started watching way back before I even started. I mean, it feels like way back, but it was only about a year or two ago. I started watching a guy, Ricky Gutierrez. There's a few other ones out there that I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's one that pretty much everyone in the trading community knows about. And he has a lot of good free content on there, on his channel as well. But that's all I really do is I just kind of watched a whole bunch of videos. I read maybe 1 or 2 books on trading, and then I kind of just, I started with penny stocks in honesty, and then I started losing money doing that because it's way too volatile. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to trade what I've been following all my life, which was oil, sometimes natural gas, and I'm trying to get into gold a little bit, but it's just not my passion really. I have to kind of have a passion for what I'm trading. Even though I'm trading it, not investing necessarily, I like to have a passion. I like to be able to follow, because if you don't want to read these articles, read up on stuff, you're not going to do the hard work it takes to make money trading. And I mean, I have a passion for oil. It affects our day-to-day life. We put gas in our vehicles and whatnot, so it's good to know if gas is going to go up or down, right? So that's why I trade oil so much. But it's just finding a niche. Everyone has a niche of stocks that they trade the most. Like if you go look at Ricky Gutierrez, for example. Last I checked a few weeks ago, he was taught, a lot of his videos were about natural gas. So he'd be someone I would say to go to for natural gas. Where me, I trade a lot of oil. I trade natural gas from time to time, but I'm more of the oil guy. So it's just finding different people on the internet, reading books and whatnot, and then just applying the information. Start out with paper trading. It's hard to get into, at least from my experience, but it's much better losing fake money than real money at the end of the day. But it's all about just submitting that first trade, and then having a good entry and exit, and just kind of go with it from there. Let's see. I think my girl just pulled up, so yeah. Yeah, I forgot my girlfriend got off at 5, so she's about to pull up any second. So I'll end this soon because we have to go get dinner. But let's see. Corona going sideways. Yeah. Earnings is win. I don't know what we're talking about for earnings. AVP. Ooh, that's a penny stock. I don't like penny stocks at all. Get oiled. Nah, she's really shy. Yeah, she's super shy. Because I asked her to start a YouTube channel about reselling. Since we're like starting to kind of get into the reselling thing, I'm trying to teach her some stuff when I have time about reselling. I was like, you should start a YouTube channel about that. And she's like, no, I'm too camera shy. I was like, I was so camera shy, I didn't even know. If you go back to my first video, I like was mumbling. It's just horrible. I still have it posted too because I like going back to it just to see kind of where this channel's come from no subscribers to now over 550, and just awesome community. It's just cool to go look at it. But yeah, I think she's home, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. But hopefully you guys have a good Sunday, and I'll see you soon. Take it easy, guys.